Yep. Get everybody on.
Cameras on, mics are off though.
Oh, you didn't say anything about
I just realized they're all muted. I tapped mine.
Yep. Oh, good. I haven't stepped in anything yet. Okay, first item on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Okay, so motion by Arvid, seconded by Van to approve the agenda. Any comments or questions? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes. Okay, next item, approval of consent agenda items. And there's a long list, but I assume you read.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda items.
I'll second it.
Okay, so motion by Van, seconded by Bill to approve the consent agenda items. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes. Good. Love the consent agenda. All right. Public input and ideas, limit 5 minutes per speaker. So if anybody in the audience wants to come up, feel free. No takers? Okay, moving on. Item 5, staff reports. Public Works. We're going to be nice to Todd this week and let him go first
There you go.
because we always hang him up later with other things.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Evening, everyone.
Evening.
Yeah, so, no snow.
Yay. Try not to dance and sing when you say that, Todd, but I understand.
Yeah, just to,
And it's salt, sand down though.
a little bit,
Yeah.
a little bit, still trying to, I think we have 4 total events,
Yeah.
November and December. So, I missed some recent ones, but we're taking advantage of the weather as well and getting this stuff melted this week on the roadways before the temperature goes into clinker at the end of the week.
Yeah.
Outside of that, we've been keeping very busy. As the update shows, storm sewer cleaning, got some beaver issues and some waterways. So we're taking care of them internally, building some beaver lusters and things like that in other storm sewer and trying to eliminate them as fast as we can. Taking trees from parks and roadways.
Always something.
Yeah, continue right away clearing all streets and sidewalks. Again, this has just given us the opportunity to really take advantage of ensuring our right of ways within our streets and our sidewalks are appropriately open and taken care of. We were able to take a deep dive in our village compost piles, which are available for residents. We make that rich with black dirt for all residents as well as wood chips. So we're stirring them and moving. I think somewhere around 17 plus dump truck loads. So we moved them from our depot site out near our airport site, and we'll continue to stir them and keep an eye on them.
Good.
Lots of maintenance, deep dives into stuff that we don't normally or traditionally get a chance to do because we're just awfully busy. But you know, things like small engines, chainsaws, things like that, we're able to take apart, break down, make them last longer. Worcester was completed in early December, so it was reported to the state, all of our pavement ratings. And then our Tree City application was also completed and submitted. Look forward to moving on to really delving into CIP. I think as Drew mentioned last month, you know, we're at that 22% mark. So look forward, got into the equipment plan and things like that, but look forward to including, you know, those 22 buildings, whether they're of this stature or need to go, they all need to be part of that CIP.
Yeah.
So look forward to informing Drew and MSA with a lot of information so we can have this button up by April.
Yeah, good.
Park sign, mill pile, prepper, interior painting. We're seeking out projects again, like I mentioned. We're gonna do a complete paint and probably do sort of a restoration, a non-skid on the floor, something to brighten things up, make things better.
Yeah.
It's been a while, so about 4 years since the interior's been painted, so working on that now. And also continue work, research, and updates for the park comprehensive plan.
Yeah, that's important.
Very, very important. Heard from a number of organizations that work within the village, the Braves organization, things like that at the end of the year. So look forward to working with them entities. Met with Parks and Trails, had a nice little meeting to sort of bring them up to date. But yes, certainly look forward to having that done in April as well. We were able to take a deep dive into our maintenance rooms, inventory and installation of shelving, just to try to, within our maintenance and operating rooms within the building. Also, lighting system, working with NEI, replacing any appropriate fixtures, and also setting our light meter system so that it's functioning properly, making sure lights are coming on and off at night appropriately. Semi-annual pre-action fire system inspections. Maintenance and security of our fencing. Our security fencing screens the DPW site. The wind wreaks havoc on them, similar to what you see around the Braves, the green fencing. Keeps the neighbors happy, so
Yeah.
they don't have to look at our salt sand piles and debris piles.
Yeah.
And then, overall manual adjustments to the building itself. Took a deep dive into the HVAC system, boiler system, and beyond. Make sure our wall fins and things like that are all working appropriately. So,
Yeah.
short month, but a busy month. Any questions?
No, I'm just thrilled you're getting some maintenance done that you don't normally do because you're not out driving the snowplows. So
That's it.
take that while we can get it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Todd. Okay, utilities. Evening, Rick.
Good evening, everybody. Like Todd said, short month, but productive month. Let's see, in addition to the report, I'd like to say that we are pulling well 3 out tomorrow. We're lifting up about 10. We are having contractors lifting about 10 feet. I will not be doing any of that heavy lifting. They will be bringing a crane in, lifting about 10 feet. There was a tube that I didn't really care for the repair on when they put it in. And I asked our consultants to back me on having them fix it right, which they did. And the company's coming back out to do it. So that'll be down tomorrow, but hopefully back up by the end of the day. We need 2 Bacteria samples out of it.
That's
before we can place it
timely
back in
before it
service,
gets
but-
really cold.
Yeah, exactly. But the hard part of that is that you need to flush that. So we'll be flushing it out on County Road M into the ditch. So hopefully we don't have to run it, to the 120,000-ish gallons we ran it before. It should be just a pretty quick, easy
Flush.
repair, knock on wood, hoping everything goes well, right? Wish us luck. That scum pump at the wastewater plant ended up just being the switch, but we did take the opportunity to take a look at it. The cutters are about 50% worn on it, and it never seems to fail. It only fails in January, where you can't run a temporary pump. You have to do this, you have to do that, and 20 blowout. So we thought, well, maybe if we need to buy cutters, it might be worth replacing that pump and having a spare. We have a spare pump for the majority of our stations out there,
Mhm.
not this one. So we might have an opportunity to have a spare where we can drop it in and get one repaired if we need to.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, operationally, it's a real.
It's a challenge.
Oh, it's a challenge. It's a challenge, especially in the wintertime. It's a challenge. Meter reads were done. Bills were out on time. Everything went off without a hitch. There was just great.
Yeah, mine was lower and I was surprised, but then I
That's
realized,
always good.
well, I realized last quarter we watered the yard and the trees and stuff, and we didn't do that this quarter.
That's
so
it. We
bingo.
usually get a lot of calls on
Yeah.
after the summer quarter.
I felt proud I
That goes-
figured it out.
Yep. So we always ask, are you watering or do you have a leak?
Yeah.
And that's the name of the game on that one.
Mhm.
So, any other questions?
No.
Excellent.
Thanks for doing what you do.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Library. Diane?
Good evening, everybody.
Okay.
So I gave you all a little half sheet with some library statistics for the last year. This is a review. So as we come to the end of 2023 and begin 2024, I want to say thank you all for your support over the year that has been filled with changes at the library. Even though we had changes to our staff, our total circulation number, which includes both physical items checked out from our library and digital items checked out by our patrons from the Wisconsin Digital Library, increased by 5,128 to a total of 67,942 checkouts.
Wow.
While this is still below our best year for circulation, it is encouraging that we continue to see that number rise. And hopefully we'll be getting closer to that 73,000 mark for circulations, which was our high one. And it's also been reassuring to see the growth in the number of new patrons seeking out the library. This year we had 400. I don't know how we hit an even 400 patrons, but somehow we did, which is about 40 more than we had last year. So
Wow.
that's always encouraging. So for December, we had total items circulated of 4,248. We had 142 public computer uses, and ebook checkouts were 1,355, and then we had 28 new patrons in December. So in December, we added 208 new collections, or new items for collections. And I also wanted to point out that overall, we added 2,283 items to our collections over the past year. And of those items, 506 were donations valued at over $7,000. So those donations are a huge part of our collection, and we really appreciate those donations from our community. So during the month of December, we had both of our book clubs met. Story time met 3 times during the month, and then returned just today for the first time after a hiatus over the holidays. We enjoyed watching people of all ages come and find gnomes in the library. So I don't know if any of you had a chance to come do that, but it was a lot of fun watching everyone run around the library trying to find those. The week between Christmas and New Year's was hopping. We were crazy busy. It was just a constant. Michelle was kept on her toes back in the youth service area, trying to find activities to keep people happy and busy, and it was a lot of fun to see that. While I'm no longer riding the book bike to Evergreen, I am still taking books over to the senior living apartments every 3 weeks, so they have an option to check out some new things.
Super.
And then we have begun our adult winter reading program with support from the Friends of the Library. So for every book you read, movie you watch, or library program that you attend, you can have an entry for the grand prize drawing at the end of March. And we are excited to bring back our jigsaw puzzle contest the last Saturday of this month. So get your team of 4 together, come on over. You've got a couple hours to try and put together a 1,000-piece puzzle.
Wow.
So last year, we had ringers in from St. Paul. They had won the Winter Carnival puzzle contest, and they finished in 38 minutes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was insane. So this year we scheduled it for the same weekend as the Winter Carnival puzzle contest. So someone from our
Very-
area has a chance.
Very good scheduling. I like it.
Kind of planned that. So, but watch for more programs with the adult winter reading program. And our staff would just like to thank the village staff, library board, and village trustees, all of you, for the support over the past year. And we look forward to working with everyone over the next 12 months.
Well, we're looking forward to it too.
Any questions?
Can I ask one?
Yes.
Very random. You've got the checkouts, so this checkouts data, you've got checkouts by hour, by day, by age.
Yep.
Does that include all of the checkouts shown in that checkouts by format? So like, are you counting a DVD video and a book?
Yep.
Those are both one checkout?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Each of those.
Okay.
would be
I was
those
just-
checkouts. Yep,
Curious.
absolutely. Anyone else? All right,
No.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, fire.
What? There's a fire?
No. There's not a fire. The fire department is going to make their report.
It's a heated subject, though.
First time with you on snow.
Yeah.
I love it. So,
Yeah.
Sorry, Marcia.
I had, sorry. We had 12 runs this last month. 9 were in the village, 3 were in the town of Farmington. Run breakdown was just 1 traffic accident, 10 medical assists, and 1 just an alarm. So our meeting for December consisted of scene size ups in town. We're still continuing that just about every month to 2 months. We
That's,
pretend that there's a fire at certain buildings, and we go to them and figure out exactly what we're gonna do, and we're gonna set up the whole 9 yards.
so it's not a
It sure helped on
surprise.
the-
Yeah.
It sure helped on the fire downtown, believe
Yep.
me. Upcoming training, we're gonna be doing our annual exposure control and HIPAA training. we're still working on a few of the trucks, change them over from the old headlights to halogen headlights. It really upgrades and makes it a lot brighter for us. So we're trying to find addresses and all that. We're working with the airport commission to help drive compliance out there on the airport hangars. We ran into a few issues out there, and we're just trying to get things up to code. And then last night we did envelope stuffing for all our tickets and stuff for the Fireman's Ball. And February 10th is the Fireman's Ball, so you're all certainly welcome to come out. It's going to be at the fire hall this year. We're kind of excited. So
Oh, nice.
the customs hangar is now going to be where their laser and stuff is. So we moved it over to the fire hall. So it's our first year. So
Oh, neat.
hopefully everything will go absolutely good.
Absolutely. I know it will.
Yeah. So, all right. Any questions?
Nope.
Nope.
I'm good.
Perfect.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, building inspection.
Yeah, so on the building inspection, the cover sheet is the last 4 years of building inspections in the community. Yeah, as you can see, the building was down in 2023. A lot of it has to do with cost of materials, interest rates.
Yeah.
Kind of the national trend of that
But
aspect.
still, $3.5 million bucks is a lot of.
Yeah, and over the course of the year, there's $6 million worth of
Yeah.
build or improvements done in the community, which isn't too much of a drop off from prior years, but still a drop off. Some of the things too, we're looking to increase these numbers in 24 through some of the building avenues we're looking at that
Right,
we're currently in talks with.
Yep.
So hopefully we can get more new home building and businesses building rather than these alterations, which are great. They still improve home values, which means higher tax rates for those homes we improve them.
Yeah.
But the only way for people to see less of a tax burden would be new development. That's the only way to see some tax relief. So we're working really hard, especially in the new home avenue, really trying to grow the community in that aspect. For the month of December, it was, I recall, a pretty quiet month.
Yeah.
One new home and one alteration. That was
Yeah.
about it. And a very large window replacement. No, that's the 12, excuse me, that's 12 unit apartment complex.
Oh.
My lines were misled there. I was like, what the heck? Yeah. So, and then they plan to have that completed by the middle of spring sometime, probably
Wow.
April or May.
Cool.
That'd be 12 units.
All good.
And that's it for that.
Super. Thank you. All right. Police.
That's me.
Hi, AJ.
I was gonna make this.
Good.
Everybody's doing good.
Month of December, Osceola PD generated 315 calls for service, and we compiled 59 incident and accident reports. Our officers made 2 arrests and made 3 criminal referrals. Osceola PD initiated 34 traffic stops and issued 32 municipal citations, 22 of which were for parking related offenses. That note, just getting settled in with the interim chief position. It's a lot of plates spinning, but it's going well.
Good.
Officer Tremblay, as you know, started December of this year. His progress is going quite well as well. The challenge that I'm facing is trying to balance my admin duties while trying to get him road ready. So
Yeah.
I've been putting him with Officer Rebham as well to
Mhm.
try to expedite that process and make sure he gets good progress
Mhm.
and milestones for getting him on the road by himself. We held the Stuff the Squad event on December 9th. We were able to accept over 1,000 pounds of non-perishable donations, which were donated to the open cupboard. So that was quite a success and fun day as well. Some other kind of calls of note, we took a report and are doing an investigation into some drugs that had been inadvertently mailed to an Osceola resident through the postal service,
Wow.
which, you know.
Not the Christmas gift you were looking
Yeah,
for?
yeah, it's just one of those things where, you know, I suppose a lesson from that would be, you know, the holidays, mind your mail, make sure you check your packages.
Yeah.
But we're working with the U.S. Postal Inspector's Office on that investigation. And
Wow.
hopefully we'll be able to yield some information to lead to
Track it
identifying the
down.
suspect.
Yeah.
Another call note was that our flock camera network led to the apprehension of a suicidal subject with a felony warrant. Had been operating a stolen vehicle at that time. And Osceola, along with Polk County and some other area cars, were able to stop that vehicle and apprehend that suspect, and it turned into an OWI fifth offense after that as well. So
Good news just keeps coming. Poor person. Wow.
otherwise, some of our officers went to the Shop of the Hero event, kind of like the Shop of the Cop that is held every year
Mhm.
at St. Croix Falls Walmart. Sounds like that was a good time. I believe that was actually the night of last month's board meeting, so I was unable to attend that night, but it was well regarded by the community, and sounds like it was a good time for the officers as well.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Otherwise, our community coffee with the cop continues, and this month in January will be held on the 19th and the 26th for anyone that wants to come by and have a chat and hang out. So, any
Super.
questions?
No.
Nope.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
And I didn't really forget you. Thanks to Van. Next report is from administration.
Yeah, it's been.
Just thought I'd kind of mix it up a little bit for you.
Between the holidays and everything we have going on, it's been a busy month. Continued talks with the airports and the VBRUX regarding Airport Road. There's currently, I reached out to the FAA and to the Wisconsin DOT Aeronautics Division, working on some type of agreement there. So we're still working on that aspect right now. Working on the many possible developments on Ridge Road. There's currently 2 that could potentially happen. One of them we're looking at closely in purchase agreement that we kind of agreed upon earlier with Caleb C. and his residential complex that he's thinking
Right.
up there. Simmon Drive, I had a good meeting with the town of Osceola last week, and I should have more information in February. They're going to bring back to the board of what's available, what are some options. I relayed the options from the meeting with the Public Works Committee to them to see what they're in favor of. So hopefully there's some movement there on Simmon Drive, so we can take opportunity of that LRIP grant that we received.
Yeah.
We did a workhorse update in the office. It's going to simplify Tammy and Carrie's life once they know the codes, have the codes memorized, but we got rid of many accounts. So it's a simpler system,
Yeah.
more in line with the state
Recommended guidelines. Yeah.
Taxes are coming in regularly. I know it seems like every five minutes there's someone at the front desk paying their taxes, so staff is really busy with that currently. And we're also having issues with software while that's going on too. But it keeps timing out on us, so it's taking longer than it should. Working with the Webster Ojibwe band on the Heritage Committee.
Oh, okay.
There should be communication from them sometime this week that I'll relay to the full board once I receive it. So there's been communication with it. Their communications director took 1 week off in December, and then their office shuts down for 2 weeks. So it was a little kind of slow.
Holidays slow
around that
things
time.
down. Yeah.
But there should be a date of some sort soon for that committee.
Good.
They're reaching out to their band president to see when he really would like to attend that meeting and what days work best for him.
Mhm.
So we will find a meeting for that committee at some point.
Great.
Working on the few land sales that I talked about, still working on that, seeing what we can do with them. And then as we get closer to the deadline here, the CIP and the comp plan here are going to be very important in the next few months. We're looking at the CIPs hopefully done sometime in April. I'm hoping that Drew can get that done. I'll ask him later tonight if that's a feasible option. On the comp plan, the public survey went out with your utility bill. So if you see that, please take that survey. It's very vital to have public input on that, as people are the ones that are driving force in the community. So please fill out that survey. I think that's all I'm doing.
Oh, that's it?
That's it.
That's it.
Part-time work.
What do you expect?
Thank you. Okay, Chamber of Commerce, Main Street.
Good evening.
Hi there.
December was a great month downtown. First at the beginning of the month, we had the Light of Osceola event. That group, we want to thank those sponsors and organizers. They say they had a great turnout. Brett from Cascade Nutrition says he went through 50 gallons of hot chocolate, which was more than last year. So he was pleased with that. So we'll take that as a win. No snow, but it was still a nice night and everything. They were taking the lights down today. We also saw a business close in December. Janie's Cottage closed her doors. She has decided to embrace retirement and move on. She had a good 3-year run. She'll be doing a garage sale at her house later with some things that didn't sell, for those that want to know. There is a potential new tenant, but they're still working out the deals with the owner of that building, so we'll be able to share that once that gets solidified. And then we tried a Sparkle and Shop event the 2 Thursdays before Christmas with all the lights that are downtown. Just wanted to try and extend some hours. There's a little bit of a history there. There used to be late night shopping in Osceola on Thursday night, so we're trying to bring that back a little bit, just trying things out. The bid was behind getting the lights along Cascade, those trees relit. Some of the funds were used to hire a vendor to come in, and with thanks to the Public Works in the village for allowing us to use the lift, we were able to get all the trees relit and add the trunk lighting in. And then preliminary work has begun between the bid, and then we're going to develop an MOU so that there's a clear understanding of how the lighting of the trees will work going forward. So
good. Yeah.
if Main Street, or if I were to get hit by a bus, there's going to have this document so everybody
That will
understands who's responsible.
Guide us through
for
the
what.
process.
Yeah, exactly.
Super.
So, and then the bid has begun preliminary conversations on their plans for 2024. And so per that agreement, once that's done, we'll present that to the full village board for your approval.
Great.
And then Chamber has just been wrapping up their year and getting ready for the new year. So they wanted me to remind everyone they have the annual meeting coming up this Monday, the 15th. There's a social from 5 to 6, 5:30 to 6. The meeting's from 6 to 7. It's at the OMC conference room. And this is where they lay out the year and elect new officers. And that's kind of it. Any questions?
No.
Good. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
One quick comment too, our new website is live, and if you see missing features or something that should be added, please let us know.
Yeah.
Carrie's been working really hard on that, and there are a few things that are still missing that we don't know they're missing until it's pointed out to us.
Yeah.
We knew there would be growing pains switching over the website, and we just want to make sure we get them ironed out as fast as possible.
No, but it's a lot easier to use, right?
It should be, yeah.
Well, I mean, to make updates and things like that, it was part of the deal.
Give updates to the community.
To give updates and change
yes,
things on
There's
the,
a headliner on
Yeah.
there, a little ticker.
yeah, it
yeah.
looked good. In fact, I saw something and then I went back the next day and
It
it
was
was
different.
fixed.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, I
have
didn't
been
even,
working on it every
I didn't
day.
even get credit for pointing it out.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's the way it goes. Next item, 6A, presentation from Terry Hauer of the Polk County Economic Development Corp.
Good evening, everybody.
And
Thanks for
I
having
think
me
I
back
got
again.
you live now, so let's see
All
if
right. We're gonna see if we can get this
computer
working this
finds
time,
it.
right?
Oh, look at that.
Nice.
There we go.
Looks like it's working, huh?
Yeah. He told me I only had to push one button.
Yeah. Well, that was very complicated last time for some reason. But anyhow,
It looks like your dongle's sensitive, so be careful on that one.
You jinxed it.
uh-oh. Oh, does this look familiar? This is what happened last time. It cut out on me.
Come over here, I'll run through my,
Let's see if it's gonna come back.
Yeah, there it is.
Don't touch it.
Right.
Step away.
I'm not touching a thing. All right. Terry Howard, Executive Director, Polk County Economic Development Corporation. Thanks for having me out. This is generally I try and get out a little earlier in the year ahead of budget season. So you cut out again. I don't have it on a stick. Can you run it from? Oh, right. Let me grab my little
Gonna switch back to my
my
computer.
little device.
Okay. To Dias?
Yeah.
If that doesn't work, then we can just blame it on the device.
Always.
I think
I'm always of the opinion it's all magic anyway, so
Well-
I'm surprised when it works. I'm happy I don't ask questions.
Technology's awesome when it's working.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna give this a whirl. So now I feel kind of lost without that in front of me. But anyhow, pretty simplistic, what our goal is, encourage and promote economic development throughout the county. This board in particular has seen a fair amount of me this year because there's a lot of things going on in Osceola that affect overall economics for our county. This is actually one of those things, and no matter what your politics are, that's Senator Tammy Baldwin, and worked with her office to come and visit Polk County. So anytime you have a U.S. senator come to your county, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And she was here at Bending Branches, and then this picture actually was at Schaefer Manufacturing in Milltown. She was here supporting a Made in America initiative. So it was very good to have her here. And that's just one example of the many things we do to try and promote the area. So you can go to the next one, Deb. A little bit about the board and the structure itself. I've been here since pre-COVID. We really try and make our board not only representative north, south, east, west, because the needs from Osceola to Frederick are a lot different. So not only geographically, but you'll see there's a lot of different industry represented there, from finance to medical to industrial manufacturing. So our board is comprised of that, so that we make sure that we're representing really the entire needs of Polk County. A little bit about the EDC itself. So we're funded by municipalities like yourself based on population, which we appreciate. And one of the reasons I like to report to you, let you know what your money's doing for you. Supported by the county, and then we're also supported from all the local business, or I should say most of the local business. EDCs used to be just relegated to industrial parks, and that has really changed. Economic development now is really more about quality of life, especially in rural communities like ours. And we're unique with our proximity to the cities. So that we kind of have that small town flavor, but yet you can have access to the concerts and everything else that you might want to go see in the big cities. So our challenge right now, and we'll get into some of this, but our challenge right now is just getting the housing in place to make this a desirable location for people. I hate when I go to employers, and I've heard this story more than once, where they hire someone and then they can't keep them around because that person can't find a place to live, and it's just easier for them to go back to the cities. As the EDC guy for the county, I hate those kind of stories. So we're doing a lot to try and affect housing. But you can also see in that last slide, involved in a lot of different things. So it's not just about chasing the industrial parks, even though that's where the major employers are, basically. It's really parks and trails, it's tourism, it's youth apprenticeship programs, it's working with now Northwoods Tech, those types of things to attract and retain our workforce. So I won't spend a lot of time on this, but this is where we're focused. Workforce, housing, and childcare is number 3. That can be swapped with a couple different things, but you can see that these are very interrelated. Workforce has slowed down just a little bit. Employers aren't just hiring anybody that shows up. They now have at least some breathing room where they can be a little bit more selective. But workforce is still a top priority. And along with that is, where does the workforce stay? So that's what our housing initiatives are going to try and do. So you can go to the next one. So new business is great. As the EDC guy, I'm always excited about new business, but anytime you bring in new business, the people that are already trying to establish their business and work here are like, hey, we already have staffing issues, knock off with the new business. But you got to have that growth, right? If you're not growing, you're dying. So you got to have some level of growth. But the column I'm more excited about is the business expansion column, because that column really represents that, hey, Polk County is doing something right. And we have a quality workforce that a lot of employers, including some international companies, are recognizing that, hey, we want to establish our business here and expand our business here. So that means our message of quality workforce and a great place to live and work and play is getting out there. So Oxbow and Clear Lake is an example of that. Noble RX, Rock Shield, I won't go through the whole list, you can read it, but it's representative of the entire county. There's expansion going on everywhere, and that is a great sign of economic growth, is when the businesses that are already invested here are investing more and willing to establish additional resources of theirs into a community and into the business here. So that business expansion column is a great thing for us. New opportunities, I'll get into this in the next couple slides too, but we have some great healthcare expansion going on. There's a new housing development, which I tried to help, I did co-author with the county. I'm not a county employee, I'm an independent contractor to the county, but my initial proposal to go before the board at the county was for $1.5 million for a senior housing development throughout the county. Well, as you can see, we landed at 200,000, so that's how much pull I have. To go from $1.5 million down to 200,000, it was, but we got somewhere, right? And
You got to
that's
start
really,
somewhere.
what's that?
You got to start somewhere.
I know, and that's, I was
Yeah.
lucky to stay at that. But that's really a win for the county. Of 72 counties in Wisconsin, Polk County is the only county that has an incentive program that municipalities such as Osceola can use at 0% money to try and incentivize housing to your area. So that can be used. It's a very broad program. It was just rolled out, so it's pretty new, probably just before the first of the year, but it's capped at 70,000, these are county rules, capped at 70,000 per municipality with a yearly annual of 200,000 for the county wide. So the first, basically the three $70,000 requests get it. So that's 0% money that you can use for infrastructure. You can use the offset cost for engineering. You can use that money for any way that Osceola seems, that wants to use that.
Great.
So that was a big win for the county and for our ability and our unique opportunities that we have. No other county in Wisconsin's doing that, where the county's actually involved in trying to get housing development to happen. And then the large solar array, I've been talking about that for 2 years. It's actually going to start this year. It's off of Highway 8 by Range. If you know where Range is, you get over towards Turtle Lake area.
Yep.
Big site, 700 acres. It'll be the largest solar array in all of northwestern Wisconsin at the time. And it has a lot of value to the county. $10 million over 25 years is going to come in tax base and revenue. So that's a big win. And the company that is developing that site is actually giving some to the local, I don't want to say 20,000 annually to the local schools, Clayton and Amory, located out in that area too, to their school districts. So that's kind of a big win for us. Not big from an employment standpoint, because once it's built, it'll take 3 people to run it. But it'll be a big boost economically from a revenue standpoint. You can go to the next one. So a couple great things going on. This isn't a big secret anymore, but St. Croix Health has purchased 100 acres just on the other side of Menards. And they're going to be hopefully building their new healthcare campus there. That is the plan. So you can see where it says healthcare campus there. That is 40 acres. So the hospital itself will sit on 40 acres of that. The 60 acres outlying around that is all for additional development. So that's housing, that's additional care facilities, that's retail. All of that can go along with that. So this is a big win for us economically as a county and as a region, really, because we have 3 great healthcare providers here. And for a rural community, rural county, that's a big deal. We have Osceola Medical, we have Amory Hospitals and Clinics, and we have now St. Croix Health that's investing, by the time they're said and done, they'll probably have close to $100 million into a new healthcare campus.
Yeah.
So
Great.
that's a huge investment, and it benefits us as residents of Polk County, but it also is a great economic incentive for employers to know that, hey, these people are going to be around here a while. We have great healthcare that attracts families, that attracts people to know that I'm not out in the middle of nowhere. I have good healthcare right where I live.
Yep.
So that's a big economic win. The other one, and I don't mean to focus just on St. Croix, but things are kind of
Okay.
happening along the 35 corridor here.
Yeah.
So St. Croix Golf Course, as most know, is also for sale. 100-acre site. It's got some challenges from the topography, but this is already approved by the city of St. Croix. This is approved for the developer to go in, and not that it will necessarily look like this, but this is what you could do if you wanted to buy 100 acres for $5 million. Grocery store, retail, housing developments, some business offices, all of that can occur on that site. So again, right along Highway 8, some great large economic opportunity for Polk County. Couple people that hopefully, some of this is already existing, some of this we hope will maybe take advantage of that $70,000. Not that in a housing development, $70,000 is not going to spin the tide greatly one way or another, but it's something that municipalities like yourself can bring to the table that other counties and municipalities can't. So Tiny Timbers in St. Croix Falls, definitely not a large housing solution per se, but very unique and has drawn a lot of interest across the state. So the developer of this is actually a local developer, and I had them featured at an Eau Claire housing seminar, and since that time, people from the state have been coming in and looking at this because a lot of people are talking about tiny homes, but we're actually doing it in Polk County. So 16 units, they're all sold out, and they're starting this. This is kind of right behind the Walmart. That's the upper left-hand corner there. Luck has a 19-acre site right next to their high school that we're trying to get a developer interested in. Again, additional housing, something in dire need, even in the northern parts of the county. And then again, in St. Croix, kind of that center picture, very hard to make out what that is, but basically that's right next to the industrial park. And there'll be a 40-unit townhome development going in there. And that is set to start hopefully this spring. So a lot of good housing stuff going on. You guys are all too aware here in Osceola of the Osceola Bluffs project. So I won't go into great detail on that other than to say it's a great opportunity for our county to have housing and then have that trickle down effect. Because anytime you introduce housing like that, you're going to get those senior people that don't want to take care of their house anymore. That then becomes fresh stock for those that want to come in as new families. So that trickle down effect is a big factor in housing. Couple of deliverables. Since I took over, I really tried to put kind of Polk County on the map, and the way to do that is to produce deliverables, things that our employers, municipalities like yourself can use. So we do a newsletter now that goes out regularly, and that newsletter is a great tool to not only just highlight what's going on in the county for those that live here, but I've heard many stories of people that have passed that along, and it also educates the younger people in our area. We have multiple companies, Oxbow, Bending Branches, they ship their product internationally. And I'll get calls or emails from people that have lived here their whole life saying, I had no idea that came out of Polk County. And it just shows that, yes, these jobs are, there's some manufacturing that is involved with just about anything that's produced, but there's a lot of good jobs for accounting, technical degrees, engineering, marketing, a lot of great jobs right here in Polk County. So it's important that our young people, those that are in our high school ages now, see that, hey, I could stay here and have a different job than if their perception is all I could do is do a manufacturing type position. No, there's a lot of other things that go along with those manufacturing type jobs. So you can go to the next one, Devin. Something that we do, we missed 2 years because of COVID, but started up again last year, and this is this year's awards for the EDC awards for Business of the Year, New Business of the Year, Service Award. Our president Neil Klein from Family Friendly Workplaces won the Service Award this year. They do a great job. They're really trying. His organization is really making a great impact on making Polk County in our area kind of a choice area to be employed and to live and work. And then our agricultural excellence, because agriculture doesn't get probably the recognition it deserves still in Polk County. Agriculture is still a big piece here. It delivers a lot of revenue, employs a lot of people. So that is definitely something that we want to honor as the EDC too. So those were our winners from last year.
Great.
Or this last year. This is just some of those deliverables. This is an example of the newsletter that comes out. If you don't get it, and you all should, because I should have all your emails, you should get all my propaganda. If you don't get it though, you can always go to our website and just sign up for it.
Okay.
So every month or every other month that it comes out, we feature a new product from Polk, which is somebody that's doing something here that's unique or interesting and gets that word out to everyone else. One of our really successful programs that we started post-COVID, so this started in 2021, is our prosperinpolk.com website. You can't necessarily know that it's sponsored by the Polk County EDC. It's its own separate entity from our regular doing business website. But this is all about workforce attraction and retention. So in order to promote this, once everything was built out, there's some small videos and stuff built, but it's, again, all about saying, hey, come to Polk County. We have a great place to live. There's great jobs here. So if you go to prosperinpolk.com, you can actually look at our local employers that post their career pages right out there.
Oh, nice.
Of the 3 different social media campaigns we've had 3 million impressions. So those are 3 million people that at least learned something or saw something about Polk County for a few seconds, if nothing else. Of that, we turned that into 3,500 page visits, and 350 people have registered as potentially interested in jobs in Polk County, which we offered a contest for a 2-night stay at the Balsam Lake Lodge, if they would give us their name and email address. So that's one of those deliverables.
Mhm.
So I then took that to the employers and said, hey, here's 350 names that you can take and market to for the jobs that you have open. Come work in Polk County. Look at these great jobs I have here at, Benny Branches or whatever.
Or wherever, yeah.
So this has been very successful. I have yet to hear the success story of someone actually getting employed because of this, but it's got to be out there somewhere. So, and then for the year coming up, already kind of in the swing of that, but this year we're really going to just keep a lot of the things that are working for us working. I do have an assistant that works 10 to 12 hours a week to help me do the marketing and stuff, because the first couple of years we're building out those marketing efforts. Now it's kind of an administration thing. So it doesn't allow me to get out as much as I'd like. So we do have the ability for her to take over some of that and be able to take over, still getting the word out. But yet I want to be available to municipalities and to our local workforce to try and help in any way that I can as well.
Cool.
So that's a huge information dump in what I hope wasn't too long.
No, it was good.
Any questions for me or anything that we can do to help Osceola that we haven't tried already?
I think you aren't going to be stinted for lack of effort. No, thank you very much for sharing this, though. It was very informative.
Great.
A lot of
Thank you all
times we
for your
get
support.
tied up with our stuff and forget there's another world out there.
Yeah, and that's why I like coming out to these meetings, because, and it's the same at every, whether it's Milltown or wherever it is, everyone's focused on their little slice, right? So it's great to see, because the rising tide raises all boats, right?
Yep.
So you can't say that things happening in other parts of the county aren't going to affect you here. It affects everyone. So I appreciate the time for you guys taking a look at this and the support that you provide us.
Super.
I'll
Thank
just
you.
chime in to sing his praises, because I work with him quite closely for family-friendly workplaces, and I think Terry and Polk EDC has shown an interest and a willingness to collaborate on new things, novel things, and it's super exciting. As someone who grew up in Milltown and felt like Polk County was the backcountry sticks, and we do everything once it shows up here. I think Polk County is doing some very, very cool things that other parts of the state are looking at and going, oh, I didn't know you could do that. And it's really cool. That,
Come where the cool kids live.
Yeah. So anyway, I really am excited that
Super.
Terry's with us about that.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Thanks, Terry.
All right.
All right. Next item, 6B, Excel Energy Site Lighting Plans and Details.
And last week, Excel Energy and Cedar Court have presented their lighting plan to us and to our village engineer. Village engineer recommended approval with one change. What was that? What's the change again, Tim? I can't remember.
The angle of that northeast corner light, and it would rotate slightly to the southeast.
Okay,
So the angle, change the angle of the light. The site plan was recommended for approval by the planning commission pending approval of the lighting plan from the village board. So tonight, the motion would be, if acceptable, would be to approve site plan with lighting plan for the project. I can answer any question for the site plan. Tim is here on behalf of Excel to answer any questions too that you might have with the site too.
Okay. Questions? The engineer's happy with it, though?
Yeah, as long as that change was made, yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the plan with Excel Energy and the lighting and the change noted in that.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion by Van, seconded by Arvid to approve the site lighting plans and details.
Site plan.
Site plan.
With lighting plan and one change, yeah.
Okay. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Okay. Next item, MSA contract stewardship grant application.
Well, Drew's chilling and talk about this one.
Yeah,
Ask the questions of Drew.
share the wealth.
I can prepare something, Devin, so you got time after me, I suppose. But, good evening, my name is
Hi.
Drew Lind, I work at MSA Professional Services, and tonight I'm gonna be talking about a contract that MSA has, and it's for doing a stewardship grant application in 2024. So a little overview about stewardship funding. So stewardship funding is administered by the DNR, and its goal is to fund recreational developments and also conservation land purchase statewide. So projects that are applicable to this grant source are parks and recreational developments. There are some federal and some state agencies that have some money, and you can get access to their money if awarded by just having different types of projects. So there's a little bit of expertise required in knowing what project would be a good candidate. Sounds like the DNR has approved Cascade Falls Park as a good candidate, but it's not guaranteeing an award, but it's approved an application. So that's some good information. To just talk about Cascade Falls Park briefly, and the state proposes taking a phased approach to basically have access to stewardship funding in more than 1 year. So for example, it would be access in 25 or 26, and then again, maybe in 2029.
Oh, okay.
Maybe a scenario after the bridge gets reconstructed.
Yeah.
So, this park is right next to that bridge, and a good way to work with the DOT is to not work with them, just wait and do it afterwards. So that's just an example I'm providing. The first phase of this project, I believe it would be the stairs and an overlook that would have a railing on it. And so that would be what this grant application would be for applying for, is phase one. And then if there was any preliminary engineering done for this park, then this grant application could also include that development or that proposed plan. So if someone changed their mind, or there was another recommendation, make the project up to the scale that the village can handle, this grant application can, or this contract for it will accommodate that. And, hopefully that makes sense. So just some quick dates here. So May 1st is the deadline. And the project would allow, if awarded, the village would have access to this money in 25 and 26. So we get 2 years to use the money. There will be a contract written if awarded between the DNR and the village. And so it is negotiable, but it's typically overseen as 2 years to get access to the money. The reason why this would be a good candidate for this grant source is because we can write the narrative to basically state that this is going to improve access for emergency response in Cascade Falls by widening the stairs, using material that is less slippery when wet. So you can make it just sound that it would be safer, and that also the stairs are reaching its useful lifespan. The previous stairs made out of wood, and it deteriorates over time. So there's other safety issues along that original path, so a new path could be proposed.
Yeah.
So main goal there is just to improve access and emergency response to the falls. We could make the overlook ADA accessible. It hasn't been completely looked at, but that could be another approach. So one follow-up question I'd like to talk about from Admin Finance Committee was, is the stewardship application fee refundable through the funding source? And it's not refundable, the application fee, but any engineering service has a chance of being refunded up to 50%. So of course, the engineering service has to be included in our application, described, but still a good deal for creating design service, and typical reimbursement is about 50%.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So.
I was talking with Art. Art Barr is a gentleman who would potentially write this grant for you. He's a past DPW he was saying that a grant could be around $300,000 to $350,000 for a grant award for phase one. So he is saying to put it in perspective.
So that our match would be 350
Up
Okay.
to 350,
Yep, up to, right?
up to.
He scaled.
Yeah, depending on what they award, but,
or what we design.
or what we design, right, depending on budgets and things like that.
Mhm, yeah.
Okay.
So I wanted to provide insight to that. Yeah, is there anything I can clarify?
So what we're looking at is to contract with MSA to help with, or actually write the grant application for the Cascade Falls overlooking stairs. Part of the reason why I want to do this is we're looking to put the stairs in this project into our CIP. It was supposed to be the 2024 CIP. We also want to make this project happen so the stairs can be accessible 365 days a year.
Yeah.
So they're accessible in winter. We'd be looking at a project that would put the stairs in a different location, so the access to the stairs to the falls would not be impacted. There would always be access even during the project life. And I know that a preliminary estimate of a new staircase was around $365,000 to $450,000, depending on, once again, materials, location, height, all of that.
Design, yeah.
So you'd be looking at a 50-50 match of upwards of, what was that, 225, probably, I'm guessing. So we'd have to set aside $225,000 in a CIP for this project, if not more with the engineering, depending on where that comes in. Using MSA would increase our likelihood of accessing the grants as they've been awarded stewardship grants in the past, and they've written them for stewardship grants. In my previous jobs, it's been beneficial to use firms especially for such large and competitive grants, as it's more about what you put on paper versus what the project actually is too. So some of that would be usable, and we can reimburse ourselves for the CIP for this grant too. And if we're awarded it, we end up saving money in the long run by using them, by getting our 50-50 match. So that's kind of the rough outline of how the village is looking at. I know the fire department would love it to be a safer route and less switchbacks. I know when people go down, it's a lot of switchbacks, a lot of time for them to get out of there. That's one thing Paul's looking forward to be excited about. And the more modern material would be much more appreciated for public works.
Mm-hmm.
And the current location of the stairs with the riprap wall and all that is kind of deteriorating as we've seen. This will make it a safer area for us too. So we know that the Cascade Falls is probably the #1 priority in our community, and it's a big draw for our community. So it's very important that we make sure that we give that attention it needs.
Yeah.
So you said this funding would arrive in 25, 26, is that what you said?
Yeah, you could look at getting a reimbursement for it in 25 or 26. So that would mean your construction project would happen in 25 or 26. It would need to be finished and paid for in fall of 26, which I heard the bridge construction is
That was my
potential in fall
Yeah.
of
It
26.
would be one of those things where if we get awarded the award would be probably issued sometime in July or August from the state, and if we're awarded that winter, we would have it be engineered, and then we go out for bids. That winter, early winter, probably November, December, when construction companies are getting their work in order for the
Following year, yeah.
season.
But there isn't a world in which the bridge project would infringe on the timeliness of this?
Not in 25, no.
No. And that 26 bridge start is iffy too. Because it may be 27, you never know.
In a horrible world in which we are denied this grant, the fee of $10,000
Is
is
some
what it
cost.
We absorb it, however, the application will be done, and we only have to do changes for the next year.
And we have some money in the CIP to pay for it, so we're not taking any money out of regular funds.
So the intent would be if we didn't get it this year, we would hold over until the next year.
We'll apply
Do you
it.
receive feedback if they deny and then you can address those shortcomings, or how's that work?
Yep, there would be a time where MSA would come to the meeting, give grant review, talk about give feedback on what we did wrong or what we did right, what we can do better. The DNR gives us direct feedback.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they do.
And that's why when they apply, they do better than we do because it's not their first rodeo.
Yeah, well,
it
it's
would be
nice that you
ours.
get a second shot with
Yeah.
direct actional, but instead of just the silent no.
But I think this is a direction we want to head in the future is try to get as much grant funding because that way we don't pay the whole freight. And it just makes it possible to do more things than we would if we had to try to do it on our own.
You don't ask, you don't get.
Yep. And this is a pretty small ask in the overall scheme of things.
And we're getting close to the end of the lifespan of those stairs.
Yeah.
And that would be calamitous.
Well, we saw what happened when they were closed for
Yeah,
2
like
years.
if they
It
went
was,
away, it would be a big problem.
so that's good. Okay, super. I think at this point, the recommendation is to approve MSA as the grant application writer for the Cascade Falls Lookout and Stairs. So I'll be happy to entertain a motion. If everyone's ready, or if you want to talk about it some more, that's fine too.
I'm ready. Anybody else ready?
You know, don't want to railroad anybody.
One thing too, one thing that has to get done is you can't go with the stewardship grant without a corp plan in place, and that's what we're working on currently with the complex.
Right, that's the park and
Yeah, so
recreation
we are
deal.
working on the park plan. That's
See, it's
one
all
aspect.
kind of coming together.
Without the park plan, you can't apply for these grants, and that's why we needed to do these park plans too. So
Yep.
in the future,
I
we'll
like
apply
it.
for these grants.
Well, I'll
Super.
make a motion that we approve the MSA contract for the grant application.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Van, seconded by Bill to award the contract for the grant application writing for the Cascade Falls Lookout and Stairs to the DNR Stewardship Grant. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes. Thank you very much. Thanks, Drew.
Thanks, Drew.
All right. Been waiting a long time, Rick. You're up. Utility pickup replacement.
Yeah, I will say Rick has done a lot of work on this. Our current trucks are extremely old. One of the bottoms has fallen out and had to be replaced.
Oh my God.
That's not what you meant by scenic byway?
They're at their end of life.
There's currently also within that, there is no plan for replacement, so this will help get things on vehicle replacement schedules, which would save his utility money in the long run.
Yep.
That's exactly.
This is something we're trying to do in all departments to get a vehicle rotation system, so we're not running our vehicles into the ground where they require more maintenance and more upkeep than we would if they had a rotation.
That's exactly.
This is one of the steps we're doing. I'm working with Todd to find something very similar in his department too.
Yep.
As we need to make sure that we have a valuable vehicle replacement schedule where we can turn our vehicles over, get more cash for them, and then spend less on maintenance and materials to keep them.
Yeah, so we end up costing less.
In the long run, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. In the long run, it'd be ended up costing less to cycle that truck through, and while it still holds some value.
Yep.
And in utility department, we would be able to then put away cash every year and then pay cash for an additional pickup. So,
And we will be paying cash for these vehicles out of the water fund as we currently have enough cash to cover this. The cash was supposed to be set aside to pay off a loan. However, the loan interest rate is lower than new loan interest rates. So it'd be better off using this money to buy the trucks in cash and keep the loan outstanding as the loan is about, what, 3.5%?
I believe the current one is 4, and the new one, if you were to pull a loan today, it'd be higher than 5.5.
Yeah, so it'd be better to use our money to pay these trucks in cash than to
Yep.
borrow. Because of savings on the interest rates.
And we'll get a fleet of trucks that's reliable at low cost.
Oh, we've kicked this one down the road.
Well, dude.
Way too long.
Yeah, but this water drainage is good if you leave your window open.
That's right. That's right.
You get that flow through waterfall, you get the Cascade Falls in your pickup truck.
Yeah, they're gonna
There
be
you go.
angry. You know why they're gonna be angry? Because they can't go ice fishing anymore.
That's right. You could just peel the car back and realize. That's right.
Okay.
That's
So
terrible.
the note that it's made with utility funds, and I just want to understand that, what that means, like it's being supported by
By solely utility funds.
solely, like people paying their utility bills.
People
Yep.
paying their utility bills.
Water and sewer
That's
is an
playing on
independent entity.
That makes sense.
Yep. We would just set a little money aside every year for equipment replacement, we call it. Doesn't necessarily have to go to pickup trucks, but equipment replacement where you wouldn't want to pull a loan for a short-term asset like this.
No.
I mean, when we bond, we pull 10 or 20-year bonds, and you don't want to be paying for pickup trucks for 20 years.
Is that how
Oh,
come we
we've had
kept them
for
so
that
long?
one. I mean, all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so this is not levy supported. This is not a tax levy item.
Sure.
This has been money that's been set aside through, this is what your rates pay for is improvements within the infrastructure. Rick has done a good job the last few years in order to make this a functional business. It wasn't long ago they had to take money from the village to make this float, and now it's a
Self-supporting,
It's a
It's a self-supporting entity at this point.
which is what it should be. That's why it was set
Right.
up. Super.
Yeah, that's really good, Rick.
Thank you.
Okay, so the Water and Sewer Committee recommended approval of this purchase after this presentation to
Just to be clear, that is each amount, not a total amount on the Hudson Ford quote.
They'll be getting 3 of the trucks at that price.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of
Okay,
the vehicle.
3 vehicles.
3 now. Yeah, I see that.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of 3 vehicles
Perfect.
for the Water Sewer Committee. Or not committee, but
Utility.
utility, water sewer utility, now that I've got it all straight here.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion by Van, seconded by Marcia to approve the purchase of 3 trucks for the utility. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes. Okay,
Thank you all.
I don't want to see any truck pulls or anything.
We just don't want to be here 10 years from now going, oh, we gotta buy 3 new, or,
No, no, no.
you know.
I like
let's
the
get it set
idea.
up, let's do it right.
Let's
you know?
set it up straight.
That's right.
Rotation is great.
That's absolutely.
Yeah.
right. So, thank you all.
Looks like a nice truck though. Okay, so next. Resolution 2401, certified survey map, parcel number 165-00582-000.
Yeah, so Carrie and I are new to the surveys and what needs to be done in the state of Wisconsin. You guys approved the survey in summer of '23, but there needs to be a resolution approving the survey. It can't just be a motion.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is a resolution approving the survey that you guys approved in the summer, to kind of confuse you more. It's a survey that's been approved. It's the survey that was done on top of the Quick Trip Hill where the KLC is looking at entertaining and buying land. And this would also finally put where the road is going to go on Ridge Road. So this would be the approved, the final approval we need for this survey.
Okay, do we have a copy of the resolution in here?
Yeah, it's really.
There's a statement
It's
here,
signed.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay.
So how do we make a motion about a resolution?
You just make a motion to approve resolution 2401.
I will make a motion to approve resolution 24-01.
Okay.
I second.
Marcia will second. Okay, so motion by Arvid, seconded by Marcia to approve resolution 2401, certified survey map for the named parcel. Questions, comments, discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Passes. Okay, commission committee assignments.
Put Marcia to work.
It's the new appointments. I believe Brett gave this to Carrie a few weeks ago.
It's putting Marcia on 5 committees. The only difference is that court went from Neil to Marcia. Because Neil took bid board
Oh, okay.
a couple months back, so now they're
So
all,
you
they're
just
mostly 5.
Drop that court in a heartbeat, huh?
Hear myself out.
And it's really just appointing Marcia to her committees.
Okay, so we just need a motion.
We're gonna have to redo this all anyway
Oh, yeah.
Come
in
May.
April.
Yeah.
Well,
So
Yeah.
it's all quite temporary.
So it's not a
So
real
is
long-term
there-
commitment.
Is there a system that we have for reelection?
do we just throw new people in the vacancies, or is there?
It's up to the village president to appoint, so he'll be asking for your, generally the village board, the village president asks for input of what committees you'd like to be on. But it's up to the village president to appoint.
So this could change in April.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented, the board and committee appointments.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, so motion by Neil and seconded by Bill to approve the committee commission appointments as outlined. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes. Okay, discuss development of bridge closure preparedness committee.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, you stuck it at the end of the agenda when I'm gonna be tired. That's not nice.
With, I wrote pending closure, or the future bridge closure. We all know that the 243 bridge will be replaced in the upcoming years. Yeah, I think it's important that we work closely with the chamber and all affected businesses and schools and entities that will be affected by this. I think at first, it'd be something we could meet as quarterly to provide updates on what's going to happen. Then as it's closed, meet monthly or whatever as needed to discuss, what's going on with the project, what are the updates, are there any delays, at least to keep people informed of what's going on in the project.
That's right. I forgot the school has people they pick up across the river, don't they?
School has, Franconia Township belongs to Osceola School District, so that's gonna be one of the biggest issues facing is how to get kids over from there to here. And also the potential impact it could have on tourism and local businesses that rely on people coming to this community from over the border.
Yep.
So it's very important that I'm gonna approach MnDOT too, as it's a MnDOT-led project.
Right.
It'd be something that I would want someone represented from them to at least appear to give these updates.
Yeah.
So if there's issues, they're taking their issues out on MnDOT, not on the village, who has little to no say on
Yeah.
this project as is. We're getting told what's going to happen, not, they ask for our opinion, but at the end of the day, it's a much larger project than the village.
Yep.
So I'm looking, I guess, discussion for you guys, what you want from it. The chamber said they're interested in working with us on this item. I know it's something that they appreciate too, as.
Yeah, it has an impact on their membership directly.
If I remember correctly, when they presented about the bridge, if we want a bike component down to the landing, we have to come up with that. So that can be a function of this committee to go after some grants.
Yeah, I have been in contact with them, and I said that the village is not in a position to be able to pay for that type of thing. So they're looking at alternative avenues that they can get those resources. As I've made sure from the start that, you can only get so much juice out of a turnip.
Yeah.
If you put that cost on us without us preparing for it, it could be an issue.
Yeah.
So it's making sure that they're aware of those complications that it might have. Those are some of the issues that I meet regularly currently with MnDOT and the Wisconsin DOT. We have bridge meetings every month right now to discuss what's going on.
Okay.
So those are happening that are for the entities that are affected, so the villages, the local county,
Right.
the chamber, we're all there.
But this is to get a little more grassroots involvement.
This would be a meeting strictly for, I think it'd be a committee strictly for people who are affected, that have someone to answer to or ask questions to. Versus, there's only so much that can be discussed at other meetings. This one would be strictly for the business owners too, and citizens or whoever might be to find out information.
I think I was visiting with the ONC CEO, Kelly, and I think I mentioned that we were going to be having this conversation, and she expressed interest as well as to maybe have either a hospital representative or just their interest in being involved in the committee, not only for their staff, but also for, I think, a fair amount of patients that come over that bridge, which falls into the business category. But I wanted to mention that as well as, another entity that I think should be reached out to for inclusion on it. I know I'd be happy to sit on this committee and be a part of its meetings. And I know Arvid's the one who suggested the idea, so I assume you might be willing to do that too, to be some board points of contact for it. And I suppose anyone else. I mean, I don't know that it's a committee that, we're not gonna be looking to the committee to make decisions or anything. It's just a listening.
Information.
So it's not like we
Yeah.
need to, I don't think we need to be hardcore about its membership or anything.
I think it'd be more or less an opportunity for information to be shared.
Yeah.
Or to get feedback, especially in the early stages. What do you want to see? How can we help you? What's the information you need to be ready? Those are questions that need to be asked when we start this process, and being as accommodating as we can to people who are affected by this and try to figure out their concerns. I think that's where it's going to start. And then once the project starts, it's going to be more or less addressing issues that they have and hopefully get them in contact with the correct people and answer the questions.
Was Somerset a Wisconsin DOT project?
I should know that.
Because I feel like we could maybe ask them.
I
How-
couldn't hear
how
your
that
question.
It
What?
was a
Their town
city, it
shut
was a city project. The president gave updates on the local community page, and they gave updates at the community level. I'm not sure what happened in terms of the aspects of the businesses and the people affected. This could be a little more, like I said, free-flowing idea of meet monthly at a certain time, making sure that one of the DOTs has a rep there to answer questions that we might have.
Preferably both.
They've been pretty good to work with as far as being accommodating and wanting to work with us because they realize the impact it has, on the communities on both sides. So what do you need from us then?
I guess I was kind of looking for feedback, and if it's just something you want to go forward to, I can work with the chamber and kind of figure out when we want to get going. I don't think we need any motion because I don't think there's going to be any action from this committee. Like I said, I think it's going to be more or less setting up
Informational.
time and meeting place and that kind of thing. But
Okay.
I want people aware that we as a village do hear people. We want to give them a voice and an opportunity to find out what's happening with the bridge. We know it's a very important subject because when they did that meeting in May, we had over 250 people show up to that meeting. They were planning for an open house style, but they couldn't accommodate it, so they did 4 different presentations. So there's a lot of interest in the bridge project and what's going to happen. And we need to find the best possible way to get the information to the people who are affected.
I think in my mind, it would be good to get this set up and I hope we could have our first meeting, I don't know, April, March, something like that. Like I don't see a need to be slow with organizing a meeting, and it seems like it's gonna be unstructured enough that like once we talk to the chamber and the school and the hospital and make sure that those kind of key contacts are on board, I'd be ready to begin the cycle as soon as we can.
I think it'd be key to have key points of contact and not have like a room of 50 people, but
For sure.
a few key points that can disseminate the information to the appropriate people.
Yep.
Because it's great to have people involved, but there comes a point where it's too large, it can be unruly and too many questions. So it'd be best, I think, to make sure that we can find some good points of contact. I think representative from the bid board or the Main Street, the chamber, the school, the OMC, Polaris, maybe whoever, some of the bigger, larger players that might have some stake.
Be good. Okay, so everybody comfortable with just telling Devin to march forward?
Mhm.
Okay,
I'm all for that.
okay. I'm always happy to delegate. Okay, super. Thank you, everybody. Okay, last item, future agenda items and updates. Neil,
I'm good.
Bill,
I'm good.
Van?
Nope.
Nothing for me, Arvid,
Again, nothing.
Marcia?
Employment tab on the website, unless you already addressed that. If we have any open jobs, I think there maybe used to be one.
There might have been, there isn't anything at time, but I'll check to see if there's a.
The police chief last. We had a police chief. Let it go.
Got it. Yep. That's it.
Okay. And with that, we'll adjourn the meeting at 7:19.
Yes.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being here out there.
Oh, that didn't take long.
Fastest one I've ever been a part of.
There you go. That's efficiency.
Bruce, remind me.
Yeah.